Well, I think the first thing we've heard is just the opportunity for growth is real. There's still so much opportunity through media and advertising for businesses to drive growth through what can be a challenging economy. And I think making sure that you're putting brand first, putting brand benefits out in front, and making sure that you're talking to consumers and connecting with consumers in an authentic way. So the theme of growth is really relevant to the marketplace just because there is an opportunity. Consumers are still buying and purchasing, and we just need to find ways to take advantage of that.
So you talked about sort of connecting with consumers and also sort of putting your brand forward. There are so many different channels and opportunities, particularly in terms of streaming and sort of the evolution of TV. What are you excited about in that vein?
Yeah, I mean, I think streaming in general, I think, when we really want to look at video holistically, right? I think, the world of TV has transformed in the consumer's eyes. Nobody goes home to watch a specific channel as we may have identified it, but I think streaming has really opened up opportunities for clients. The idea that you can create a lower clutter experience, a better ad experience. There's lots of innovation in terms of shoppability in that space, the ability to use digital to make the ads slightly more addressable and relevant to the consumer. So the platform of streaming, in addition to the fact that it can drive so much reach, right? And you can reach more people than ever before, but you can connect with them in a way that feels more relevant to them. So I think if we take advantage of all of the great things that streaming brings, it's just going to make advertising that much more palpable to advertisers. We've heard a lot about disruptive advertising. I think we've got a chance in the streaming market before we just revert back to the way TV was to say, hey, there's a better way to advertise to brands and consumers, brands to consumers.
I think there's also a shift from an advertiser perspective in terms of measuring the performance of their campaigns, whether it's streaming or traditional TV. How are you counseling them to do that?
Yeah, well, I think, again, back to the benefit of streaming is the idea that this is living in a digital ecosystem. We know who the viewer is better than we did in linear TV. It's not just about age and gender, but we can find actual audiences and target them so we can make the advertising more relevant, which we hope drives more attention and engagement and ultimately better brand metrics. In a marketplace where we're seeing an economy that's kind of on the verge of some danger areas, I think the idea that we're moving more towards performance media, but now we can use a mass media, broad reach channel like video and let's just call it TV for what it is, but we can use that in a much more measurable, accountable way. So really, for the first time ever over the last couple of years, video, mass video, has become a performance channel, just like we thought digital was in the day.
So we talked about performance, we talked about sort of measurement. What about creativity? Is there still room for creativity as we sort of explode into this streaming space?
Yeah, I would actually say creativity is more important than ever before. And when we think about it in the context of content development, personalization at scale, and really helping brands break through. I think one of the things we've seen at this conference, as you've been in that room, is creativity is king, and these brands and the way that they've been coming to market and connecting with consumers has to be different. And I think it most importantly has to be authentic. We've talked a lot, another big theme I would say at this conference is around diversity, equity, inclusion, and just making sure that we're talking to all audiences in a much more authentic way. So to your question, I think creativity is more important than ever before, and we can't let that get lost. We say a lot at Dentsu and at Carat just around investment kind of isn't just an output anymore. It's not just transactional. It's part of the entire process. So if we know who that consumer is, how do we connect with them in the most creative and authentic way, which is really going to help brands break through.
My last question for you, you mentioned this early on, sort of around social shopping and live streaming. Are you excited about that? And what are you seeing? Is there anything specific that buyers might be interested on that front?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen across social channels the power of social media to drive commerce, and you're seeing this come to the big screen. And I think people are more engaged in their television screen now, holding the remote, holding their phone at the same time, and It's a big consumer shift that TV is no longer just a simple lean back experience. You have that ability, and we've seen this with the DTC brands who have come in and really been able to build businesses around a shoppable experience, which was a bit disconnected. I had to go to my phone, I probably still had to do a search. Now, if you can build that into the experience, and I would come back to the creativity point, you can't just say, click here. You have to build something that gives them an experience to go into and eventually create a better consumer kind of purchasing experience as well. So yeah, I think that touch point is highly valuable. We've seen some really amazing opportunities in the streaming space where it's not just an ad unit anymore. Like, what can I do with my 15 or 30 seconds to make the consumer's life easier, to make it better? So yeah, I think what we've learned in the social space around commerce is highly applicable to the video space.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.